Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for being here on time. We're just going to wait for a few more minutes to let some more people join. Can I ask everyone who's here to maybe turn on your video? It'd be great to see some friendly faces. And maybe while we're waiting for others to join, please feel free to introduce yourself by sharing your name, the name of the organization you're joining from, and where you're joining us from. And you can actually put that all in the chat window. Let's give everyone maybe a minute or two more, and then we can get started. Fantastic. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Global Impact Bootcamp for EMEA and the APAC region for 2022. I am Indrani Vedula and lead Impact Partnerships at Turn.io for Asia Pacific and India. And I'm joining you from Hyderabad city, which is in the south of India. We have a very, very exciting and informative and interactive session for today's bootcamp. And we're hoping that you're all geared up for learning more about the WhatsApp business platform and how it can help you scale your existing chat service and another chat service that you want to build in the future. Now, if you're ready to onboard today, we are running a hands-on session to support you to get live and get a WhatsApp chat service today itself. Let's take a quick look at the agenda. Next slide, please. Great. We will start with opening remarks from leadership at Turn and WhatsApp, and then we will move to a quick introduction for what is Chat for Impact and the WhatsApp ecosystem, following which we have our community showcase from where you will hear from our community members from EMEA and APAC on their chat services, namely Funda One Day and Prestasi Junior Indonesia. They will share more about how they're using the WhatsApp business platform to connect to their communities and scale outreach. We will then move into breakout rooms to chat through the onboarding process. And in the email reminder that I actually sent you earlier today, we sent you a couple of steps to follow, which would be needed for onboarding the WhatsApp business platform. I hope you were able to get the admin access and set up a Meta Business Manager account for your organization, but we will be talking you through those steps to get the WhatsApp chat service set up for you today. Next, we will talk about some business practices and best practices to bear in mind when designing your chat service. And finally, we will wrap up with information on how to join our community and stay in touch. Next slide, please. So this bootcamp will follow a meeting format, which allows us to have a far more interactive space so that you can easily engage with each other on chat. So before we get started, let's take a quick look at the housekeeping rules for us to bear in mind. We will be recording this session, and the recording of this will be sent to all the attendees in a follow-up email. Please make sure to keep your videos on. It really allows for better engagement. And then due to the large number of attendees, we have turned off screen sharing and the unmute option for attendees. So if you do have any questions for our speakers, please feel free to raise that on the chat window. And the bootcamp will be in English, so we will turn on the subtitles if you prefer to follow them in that manner. And with that, I'd like to now call upon Gustav Prekelt, co-founder at Turn.io, to share his opening remarks. Over to you, Gustav.
Thanks, Indrani. What a great pleasure. Good morning, everyone in Africa and in Europe, and good afternoon to everybody in India and Asia Pacific. Such an amazing turnout we have today, and I think it speaks to our shared vision in improving people's lives by providing them with information that they need to be able to make the choices to improve their own lives. As Indrani said, I'm Gustav Prekelt. I'm the founder of Turn.io. Our purpose is to provide personalized real-time support to vulnerable people everywhere. We exist to help organizations like yourselves build the services that help people improve their lives. As you all know, and I think as why we're all here together today, the world has massive inequality and is facing huge challenges, especially post-COVID. People living in poverty and vulnerable people around the world face massive challenges improving their lives, in getting access to information, in providing information and help to their kids. But we believe that there's an incredible opportunity to be able to support people in helping themselves, really. And the really amazing opportunity is this incredible growth of these devices. Almost every single person in the world right now has got access to a mobile phone. And that means that almost every single family in the world has got access to real-time secure chat. And that's what WhatsApp provides. And that's what we at Turn are trying to help you provide. So you can build the services to help people connect with the information that they need. So how would it work? By firstly, providing the information that they need in a secure and reliable and verified way. Secondly, by providing personalized support. It's not enough to just provide the information, but you also want to be helping people through the complex journeys that they have. And finally, you want to be able to track real world impact. So not only do you want to be able to provide the information and provide the support, you want to know, is that person actually able to get to the point in improving their own life and getting access to the services and having real world impact. Thus far, we've had incredible traction. There are now over 1,000 social impact organizations, nonprofits, and governments around the world that have built their services using WhatsApp and using secure chat. But we also realize every day there's a new kind of use case or service or application that can be built. And that's why we launched the accelerator last year. The Chat for Impact Accelerator provides support, inventory, mentorship, help, and cash and unrestricted funding to help you build your services. Last year, we had an incredible cohort of 10 organizations like Digify, who's supporting learners to find the skills and the jobs that they need to improve their lives, like Same, that's providing support to LGBTQ youth across Africa and the information that they need in their journey, and Mobile Pathways that's supporting refugees around the world. This first cohort of organizations have launched their services and are now scaling, and have also been able to access additional funds. So with that success, we are now very excited to announce the second cohort and the second accelerator for this year. All of you that are here today are of course eligible. We'd love to accelerate the work that you're doing by providing you the funding and the support and the mentorship to see what use cases we can help accelerate to provide the information to vulnerable and people around the world. This year, because of the success last year and the inaugural cohort, we are expanding the cohort to 20 organizations. With the help of WhatsApp, we'll be providing $500,000 in unrestricted funding to the 20 organizations. So that's $25,000 per organization. Please apply. There's, I think, another week left. So by the 21st of September, you need to get your applications in. It's a very simple application. So if you could do that by the end of the month, we will be selecting the accelerator participants, and the accelerator will run throughout October. I can't wait to see the amazing applications that you will be building on your own and with the support of Accelerator. And of course, none of this would have been possible without the amazing team on the Turn side, the amazing organizations like yourselves building these services, and importantly, also the support of WhatsApp, who built the platform originally, but also been supporting the Chat for Impact program. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Nikhil Apte. He's the nonprofit and public sector lead for India and Asia Pacific. And as you would know, these regions have been at the forefront of innovation in building incredible impact services over the last couple of years, especially through COVID. So it's really a great honor to have Nikhil here, and would love to hear a couple of words from him. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thanks, Gustav. Thanks for that. And let me start by saying, conveying my heartfelt compliments and gratitude for you and Turn.io for the work that you've done, along with us partnering globally for different use cases, different regions, different people all around the world, bringing WhatsApp API to solve real world problems. So once again, thanks a lot for that. To the audience, welcome here. I'm Nikhil. I live in Pune, which is in the western part of the country. And as Gustav mentioned, I'm the regional lead for public sector and nonprofit partnerships for WhatsApp. I handle an expansive geography from Pakistan in the west till Australia in the east. And as the geography goes, we also have relationships in the social sector, in the social impact space, in almost all the countries in this region. I'm very excited to be here, and I hope you are too. And please do make use of the very kind gesture that Gustav and his team have passed on to you. I think WhatsApp is the way to scale whatever and scale your impact in a means, by the means that are unimaginable to most people. I would not take too long, but I'll just highlight a couple of use cases we have done over the past 1 year. One was, of course, with the government of India on a body called MyGov. And all this started, during the COVID peak, when the whole country was reeling under the COVID stress. MyGov in India came forward and integrated the government app of Arogya Setu. And now on WhatsApp, we could have booking of vaccinations. You could get your certificates and multiple other things that were only imaginable to people before that, at a pace and at a touch of a button. This is further expanded into giving you certificates from DigiLocker for your PAN cards and for your driving licenses. And the scope is still unwritten. It's going to go much further. Similarly, in the nonprofit space, we partnered with a COVID Asha team. This team has a group of volunteers all across India, and they were spread around 55 cities in the country. And at the peak of COVID, they could, using WhatsApp chatbot, align their teams to help out people all across the country, giving them life-saving supplies, giving them correct information, so on and so forth. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We started helping out people, and where we have reached today are great relationships with both the governments in the country, in the region, and also nonprofit and social impact partners. A few days back, we were talking to the government of Pakistan for creating a chatbot to assuage the grief and assuage the difficulties that the flood victims in Pakistan are facing right now. Parallelly, we are also talking to organizations in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Australia, and Vietnam to help them scale their impact, reach out there to their communities, and solve real world problems for the people in those countries. Sky's the limit, as they say. and we are just scratching the surface, or we are just at the tip of the iceberg of what we can do. We have a great platform, thanks to Turn, that we expect you all to leverage and take it forward to improve your own businesses or own organizations' outreach. I'll keep my talk short here and hand over to Lisa, who's going to take you to a wonderful journey on how you could leverage WhatsApp and Turn partnership to benefit your organizations. Over to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Nikhil. My name is Lisa Langford. I'm the Global Partnership Lead for Turn, and I'm based in the UK. And before we start our journey together today, I thought it would be good just to take a moment to look at the ecosystem. Many of you are familiar with the WhatsApp consumer app. That is how we connect with family and friends. Then there's also the WhatsApp small business app, and that's typically for your small business owner. It's ideal to use, for instance, if you're a restaurant owner, you want to share open and closing times with your local customers and just share a bit of information within a smaller environment. Then there's the WhatsApp business platform. And when we speak about WhatsApp today, that is what we're referring to. The beauty of the WhatsApp business platform, it allows you to engage at scale. So you can at any given time speak to thousands, hundreds, even millions of users all at the same time. So important to understand where you are in the journey and which platform is best for you. So as we think about if we can go to the next slide, please. So in order to connect to the WhatsApp business platform, you do need a business service provider. In this case, Turn as a business service provider. There are many business service providers within the ecosystem that you can connect to. If we go to the next slide, it's important to think about the problem you're trying to solve. I'm going to spend a little bit of time just chatting through what this will help you to do as you discover this journey of WhatsApp. You can do many things on WhatsApp, but from our experience working in this over the last few years is that if you have a clear understanding of the problem you're trying to solve, it helps you plan out what type of service you will be building on WhatsApp. You can, for instance, build a service that is to inform your end users. A typical example is what we call an info chatbot and sending regular reminders of important information that you believe that your end users might require. Or you can build a chat service that is a help desk where you provide support, ongoing support to a community of people. Lastly, you could also build a service where you want people to take an action or provide them with a service, a utility, maybe an example, to register for a vaccine. If we go to the next slide, I'll show you a few examples of how these actually come into practice. The first example is that of the Department of Health in South Africa. They built a chat service to inform the people in South Africa during the breakout of COVID. They were able to not just provide very key information that was life-saving at the time, but also over time change the service into a utility service. So providing that extra step of giving them access to register for vaccines and also getting information that is required to actually get registered for vaccines. The second example I'll show you is that of a support service. This service is of Strong Minds, and they provide a support help desk for people in Africa dealing with mental health issues. This is a really great service where the end user is able to engage with the chat service and get all the information they require, but also able to speak to a trained professional that is able to support them using WhatsApp. So you can see how beautifully automation and real world support works together within the WhatsApp channel. The last example I'll chat you through is that of an action. Nikhil did mention this earlier, but this is the service that the MyGov service built with the help of Haptic in India. This started off as an information service, but quickly grew to a really great service for providing people with a service where they could book appointments, where they could also get their DigiLocker certificates uploaded. So it's actually just grown into from an informational service to a help desk to an action service, where they are currently the biggest service on the WhatsApp business platform to date. So I hope these 3 examples give you a little bit of inspiration on how to think about the problem you're trying to solve and how you can use WhatsApp to solve the problem. But who best to actually show us what you can do than people actually currently working on the WhatsApp service. So I'd like to introduce you to Vusi Mangalele, who is the e-learning coordinator for Funda One Day, and he's responsible for managing digital content on the Funda One Day app, the WhatsApp chatbot, and their WhatsApp server in their website. Vusi, over to you.
Unmute. Thank you so much, Izzy. Seems like I was unmuted for a sec. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Lizzie, for the warm introductions. I am so happy that we were invited to share our use case for the Reading Champions chatbot. I'm talking to everyone from Cape Town, South Africa. It's lovely to meet everyone. So before I start and kick off, I just want who we are as an organization. Reading and mathematics in South Africa. And basically our goal is to make sure that all children are able to read.
Vusi, this is Indrani here really quick. I think we might be losing you a bit.
Oh, what? Now?
Yeah, so maybe
is it the
if you
sound
want to turn
or
off
the
your
network?
video, that might help. We could try with that.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Apologies.
All right, thanks. All right, thanks. Apologies for that. I hope I'm just going to lean forward so that the sound,
we can hear you better now. Thanks. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Next slide, please. All right, cool. In terms of the use case also of this Reading Champions WhatsApp chatbot, again, here to also bring you again into the context of the inception of this chatbot. So research has shown us that 78% of the children in South Africa, they do not learn to read for meaning in the first 3 years of school. And without this core skill, so they fall further and further behind as they are promoted to the higher grades. And now the Reading Champions program, which is part of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative. So it was designed to strengthen the reading ecosystem through engaging young people at scale around South Africa to set up reading clubs and strengthen reading spaces and apply reading spaces consistently to drive the emerging of reading culture. And to add on this, these young people, they are trained to cultivate a culture of reading and reading for enjoyment in these schools. Thank you. Next slide, please. Cool. So what problems are we trying to solve through this Reading Champions WhatsApp chatbot? One, we want to sort of figure out how might we effectively monitor, support, and engage with more than 11,500 young people that are spread across the schools that are in South Africa. And the actual number of these young people that are deployed in these schools is just over 16,000, and the 11.5 it was the target, and we proved over those targets. So the second problem that this chatbot is also aiming to solve is how we might continuously and rapidly collect the data and on-program implementation. Cool. So in terms of the solutions that this chatbot brought, the Reading Champions has monitoring and evaluation tools. So in terms of these M&E tools, so we have 3 tools that are completed by Reading Champions on this chatbot. So we have the baseline tool. It's a baseline form. It's basically a form that they complete on WhatsApp. The baseline is completed before the program starts at the schools to monitor the reading levels of the children. So that we call the baseline form. We also have a weekly monitoring form that is also completed by the Reading Champions each week to sort of monitor the progress of the learners throughout the implementation of this program. And towards the end of the program, we have an N-line tool, which measures now the reading levels of the children after the program has been implemented at the schools. So these are very useful forms that are provided on the chatbot to help drive also engagement and to track the progress of the progress and the impact of the program itself. The chatbot also has teaching and learning resources, ranging from your reading materials and teaching materials. We have videos and with all these different activities that a Reading Champion is to do at the schools. On the chatbot, we also have training courses that are tailored for the Reading Champions. The Reading Champions are also able to access the weekly plans via the chatbot. And basically what these weekly plans are is they are the structure is basically showing the Reading Champion what to do before the school starts, what to do during the school, what to do after school with the learners, basically including all the activities that will promote the culture of reading and reading for enjoyment. The weekly plans are for foundation phase, intercent phase, and high school. We've also included a section for the frequently asked questions so that everyone is able to view the questions that other peers may be struggling with. And then we provide solutions to those questions also there. All right, cool. In terms of scale, we've sent 6.5 million messages since the start of phase 1, with 26.7 thousand users currently registered on the chatbot. With that, on that number, 16,051 are the Reading Champions that this chatbot was built to cater for. And these are all people from all around South Africa placed in selected schools. Next month is the start of phase 4. We are basically anticipating that double the numbers as the Department of Basic Education is reporting new Reading Champions. Next slide, please. Cool. What did we learn so far? I'm just trying to, I see I'm over my time. I'm just trying to run as fast as I can. Apologies in running. So we've learned that we need to keep our content fresh and update as much as possible. And again, also our navigational features, they need to be simple. These are young people, and we don't want to come in with graphics, etc. So here I spent with the different provinces, and that proved to sort of consume a lot of time, and it's much easier to send the instructional materials instead of holding countless meetings. Next, we saw the importance of keeping an active loop, feedback loop, in terms of gathering feedback and learning more about the platform itself. And we're gathering this feedback via the monitoring forms that we have on the chatbot. And we're also gathering feedback via the provincial WhatsApp groups. What we've learned also is the importance of the trainings that we do. So basically, we would train the trainers for each provinces, and then they would train the region champions. I think we found that to be very useful instead of just having one hub for everyone to train on. Next slide, please. Cool. So basically, this is just screenshots from the actual DBE Region Champions chatbot. And first screenshot is our main menu and all the menu items that we have. Yeah, I'm not going to go in. I thought we had more time. But yeah, basically that is how the chatbot, that is what it looks like. And basically, again, you can see it, overall what the different functionalities and the offerings of it are there. Next slide, please. Cool. You are more than welcome to check this chatbot out. And this chatbot is all our materials that we have are open access, so everyone is more than welcome to use them. So you can scan that QR code and just basically check it out and see how fun and engaging it is. I think I will pause there for now and take on any questions, if there's any.
Thanks, Vusi. That was really, really interesting. I would actually, given that we are running a little later, I would like for anyone who has questions for Vusi to maybe, post your questions on the chat window there. There is one comment, however, that I'd like to make, which we've learned from, is basically that, you are to keep users engaged and to have relevant and fresh content on your service. So I do see that the Reading Champions program, you've partnered with a few partners who are contributing, like Nali Bali. It's really interesting to see how that would work. So if anyone else is interested in, asking more about learnings from the service, Vusi's been involved with this chatbot from the very beginning, and he will be a wonderful person to get in touch with to chat further. Moving on, we'll move to the next community showcase. That's from Uttami from Prestasi Juna, Indonesia. For those of you who've not heard about them and their work, Prestasi Junior is part of the world's largest youth-serving NGO, which is Junior Achievement Worldwide, which prepares young people for employment and upskills them through their programs. I'll now hand over to Uttami to tell us more about the work that they're doing with their amazing WhatsApp chat service. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Indrani. Thank you for introducing us. I think that's the explanation of the slide that's been shown. So let's move on to the next one, I think. Basically, the journey where we started using the chatbot is over the past 4 years that Prestasi Indonesia, with the support of Prudent Foundations and Prudential Indonesia, has implemented a financial literacy program known as the Cacing curriculums. And this is a comprised of a series of 6 lessons targeting 3rd graders matriculating at elementary schools in multiple locations across Indonesia. And the program itself has been very well received by more than 160,000 students from more than 3,000 schools have been engaged and involved in the program. And we also gain a positive impact. This is supported by data that indicating that there is an improvement in student knowledge of financial matters over the period of engagement. And on average, it's about 15%. Next slide, please. Well, the teaching curriculum itself, originally, this is designed for a classroom-based delivery, inclusive with hard copy worksheets, simulations, group activities. And then the story begins when the pandemic was happening, where the classroom-based learning was no longer possible. And that's for a period of more than 2 years back then. And consequently, students were required to engage in a distant learnings. And this provided significant challenges for teachers in terms of delivering the materials and their students in terms of connectivities and access to resources. And these challenges were in part is due to the limited access of digital platforms which were dependable and user-friendly. And WhatsApp, we found that WhatsApp is one of the options, the best options to explore more. And then when we get to know with Turn.io platform, we see that this is the one, because the platform has enabled us to load the learning materials, including the teacher's manuals, student worksheet, and other supporting education resources into the WhatsApp platform. And with this is provided teachers, students, or even parents with an easy access to materials just through their mobile phone by simply typing in a keyword. And the Turn.io platform also incorporating the use of threads, and this allows us to be able for user tracking, so that we can sort of sort the beneficiaries' engagement and responses, for example, for the pre and post testing. And we also enable to access data for program evaluations. And of course, this is for all of this for reporting purposes during a period when the efficacy of this has been compromised due to the pandemic. So this is very helpful for us. And since the official launch last year's October, end of October, more than 30,000 users, this is consisting of both students and teachers, have access to the learning content. And the use of the Turn.io platform and the WhatsApp bot has provided us with an excellent means of accelerating the disseminations of information. And it's provide flexibilities for our students to learn outside of school hours, revise, repeating the learnings, become involved through interactive engagements and complete activities at their own pace. So there's another benefit that the way we can see it. And it's also provide a new vehicles for our students using the smartphone to learn and complete the assessment or submit the assessment as required. And this academic year, by 2022 until 2023, we are targeting to reach 230,000 students by using the Turn.io platform together with the WhatsApp bot. PGI able to disseminate programs and learning materials in order to reach that goal, because our goal is actually to reach 1 million user by 2025. So finger crossed, we are reaching to that one. We are now no longer limited to the distant learning and locations. And in fact, that the student from the remote easternmost of region in Indonesia, such as Papua, now have already benefit from these innovations. Next slide, please. The platform itself is enabled to facilitate the delivery of materials and informations and enable a large number of reach out beneficiaries at the same time. In fact, that Indrani just chat me and Simon, oh, what happened with with our services? Suddenly there's hundreds of users just connect to our services. But that's the good things of the service, I think. So again, when we would like to scale up to a more wider audience, this is very much feasible. And another key learnings that we see is with the thread features, it is enable us to create a tracking data system and a sequential learning that is important, I think, in education, where it is important to secure a maximum comprehensions from our students or from our users. And another lesson learned for us is to start from a simple stage. We always, I mean, we are still learning until now. Always check from the user side, just to ensuring that the understanding is obtained when the user read the instructions or informations that we have put in our content. And again, just never stop learning and exploring. We are keep exploring now. We're still really on the early stage of using the platform itself. Okay, next one, please. This is just a sneak peek of our users interface. This is actually one services, but you see two screensaver there as a teacher and a student. We create in such a way where we divided our user into their own journey as a teacher, where we provided a more complete information, such as the teacher's manual, student workbook, even the video learning that the teachers can use when they need to deliver the program to the students. And while for the student itself, we also create a different way where they click or register as a students, they will be able to access their learnings, all of the information that really actually this is important as for them as a students. Although once when they get into the platform, they can just pretend as a teachers anyway, but this is fine because there's no such like a confidential information anyway. But we just don't want to put, you know, the message or the content too much, like you know, because we are our beneficiaries, I mean, from coming from different levels and different stakeholders. We would like to really focusing on who are they and what kind of information that they would like to seek, and this is how they need to you know, follow the journey. And the other way is the vice versa for the other communities, the other beneficiaries. That's how we are creating. Thank you for you know, the platform that's always improving. There's always a new services happening, and thank you for doing that, and thank you for making us to keep running to learning everything like in a faster way. But this is how we are using the services at the moment. And next slide, please. Feel free if you wish to check and how our interface looks like. I know this is in Bahasa, but feel free just to log in and see how the services are going on. Yep, I think that's all from me, Indrani. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Utami. It's always a pleasure to hear about you know, how you guys are using the WhatsApp chat service, and you always keep coming up with newer and interesting ways. So please do share these learnings on the you know, Impact Forum. If anybody is interested in reaching out to Utami, please can you share your email in the chat window as well. I'm sure there's tons of great learnings. There is a question I see for you, Utami, on the chat window, which says, how are you marketing your products so that you can get more than 10,000 users in just 1 year?
Yeah, we have a close collaboration with education offices, even the Ministry of Education. We have some kind of memorandum of understanding, so they know what we are doing, because we are targeting a school-based students starting from elementary, middle, and high school on. Once we are reaching out and to them, we are connect with the education officers and even the Ministry of Education. We introduce our program, we introduce our content, we introduce our platform. And what we're doing is actually some kind of a roadshow from one area to another. We have this teacher training where we invite the teachers in one location. So we introduce the program, we introduce the platform, when we some kind of a guide through them, how to access the services. And of course, once they are there, once they have it in their phone, it is free for them to share to another colleagues, another partner, another teacher in the school. So that's how we are doing. So we are reaching our outreach to our target audience, collaborate with education offices.
Thank you, Utami. If there's any other questions for Utami, please feel free to add them on the chat window. She'll be around to answer your questions. Gusi, I am also seeing a few questions being raised for you. In fact, Shantanu Sharma from Gram Hall has actually shared an interesting, suggestion about possibly using perusal options feature on WhatsApp instead of using number codes. Perhaps you can reach out to him to learn more about that, and then we can discuss that as well. And there's one question for you, Gusi, before we move on to the next question, next section. How did you manage to get learners on chat? This is from Monica Muaba. So if you are still around, Gusi, you can unmute. Let me just see if I can. Let's see, there you go. I've just unmuted you, Gusi, if you can just maybe help answer that question.
Hi, thanks, Indranee. Sorry, I'm just browsing through the questions. What was the question again?
The question was, how did you manage to get learners on chat? Like basically attracting a lot of the students, the readers, onto the readers program, and how did you recruit them?
All right, cool. Thanks. So the way we went about this, since we already had the database of how many reading champions were recruited by the Department of Education. So what we basically did is we used that database to sort of get everyone registered, and we had set up provincial WhatsApp groups that is facilitated by the support partners for each province. So they would drive the engagement through those WhatsApp groups and sort of monitor if everyone is registered on the chatbot. If not, please do register, and then sort of drive engagement on that. And also, once they're registered, again, to drive more engagement, the communication of what's new, what's latest on the chatbot is also communicated via the WhatsApp groups.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Gusi. We are now ready to move on to the next section of the bootcamp. If you guys have any further questions, please reach out to Gusi and Utami on the chat window. Now, before we move on to our breakout rooms, I'd like to just show you how, and where we're going to be showing you how to onboard the Turn platform and the WhatsApp business platform. We want to tell you about the offer that we have for you today and the steps to claim it immediately. So for being with us today, we are excited to offer you a 3-month free license on Turn.io. And what the license gives you is access to a WhatsApp number, unlimited users, training, as well as WhatsApp and email support, and Turn Cloud hosting. So the link that you have here on the, we'll just paste that on the chat window. That is basically the link that you'll need to click to get started with your sign up process. Moving on to the next slide, please. There are 3 basic steps to sign up on the WhatsApp business platform, and we'll be talking about these a little more in detail in the breakout room session, but let's just go through them really quickly. One is to select a number. for your service. You can either select a local or a global number. The second one is to register your organization on the WhatsApp business platform. And for doing that, you will need some initial information about your organization, and we'll definitely give you guidelines on how to get all that information and get it right. And then the last one is to complete the Meta business verification process, which is the mandatory step required by Meta. And you'll do that by logging onto the Meta Business Manager account that many of you might have already started creating, and share the documentation that is relating to the legal registration, the business address and phone number of your organization on that form. And once you've completed that, it takes anywhere between 24 to 48 hours to get your verification completed. And we're more than happy, and I'm seeing that there's a lot of questions already coming up on the onboarding process on chat window. I think what would be great is for us to next move into the breakout rooms, and we're happy to answer those questions there. We're splitting up the group into 3 breakout rooms, which will be led by Carola, Kanya, and myself. Carola, you'll be joining room 1. Kanya, please join room 2, and I'll join room 3. And I'll just start, open up the rooms right now so we can all move into our respective rooms.
We're just waiting for everyone to join from the breakout rooms.
Hi, we're just back from our breakout rooms. Everybody else back?
It seems like, yes, we're good to go.
Excellent. Thank you. And I hope it was a very informative breakout session, that we had lots of questions in my breakout room, specifically around signing up, number choices, number selections, whether they can get a local number, or, you know, if they have to stick with like a +1 number, and, you know, options beyond the 3 months of free turn license. So please, reach out to the partnership team on impact@turn.io if you have more questions. We will also be, you know, running live onboarding sessions on Thursday and Friday this week. Basically, tomorrow and day after. We actually have early on the day, we have sessions that are for the EMEA and APAC region, and then slightly later in the day we have similar sessions for the Americas. So don't worry if you're not able to get too far. If you've started with your application and you're stuck somewhere, please join the sessions, and we'll be happy to help answer those questions for you. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Great. We'll spend the next couple of minutes to look at a few best practices to consider when building your service, right? There are 4 things that you need to think about when you get started. Next slide, please. Right. Firstly, think about the content for your service. Start simple. You do not have to have like the most detailed version of your service's content ready for launch. So you can start simple and edit as you go. Secondly, within content itself, you could think about creating an FAQ bank and add all the common queries and responses to those in an FAQ menu option. This will help answer many of the questions that your end users have typically. And then think about some of the mistakes that a user can make when accessing your service. This will help you anticipate in advance and create ways to guide them back to the appropriate menu. And this will always help in improving your, the user experience. Iterate the user's journey based on testing. So as well as what you're seeing as common queries that are coming in from your end users. And make sure you're updating the content to ensure that the most valued information requested by your users is accessible easily. And if your content is updated regularly and it's easy to digest, it always make sure that user engagement is high. And then think of ways of keeping your users engaged. You can do that by obviously sending reminders through our reminder feature or notifications to all the users who have previously interacted with the platform and have opted into receiving messages from you. You can also set up follow-up timers that will allow you to nudge your end users within the 24-hour window. And lastly, think about how your users will engage with your service. For this, you will need to work on a launch plan, and we'll talk about that in the next slide. So for the launch plan, you need to identify who and where your users are and what would be the most suitable channel for you to reach out to them to advertise your chat service. You can optimize on existing media channels by cross-marketing, and you can also use chat tools like the QR code or the click to WhatsApp link to increase your traffic. They're also known as the WAMI links that we refer to. And finally, and most importantly, make sure that you draft a chat service launch plan and allocate proper budget for promotional activities. Let's take a quick look at some of the examples that our clients have done so far. Now, on this slide, you can see a click to WhatsApp journey on basically that one of the clients has done from an ad on Instagram to the WhatsApp service in the end user's phone. On the next slide, you can see other examples of promotional videos. So this one on the left is a promotional video that that Princess Trust had created for its service called Vibe Check. Another good practice involves using alternative channels like TV and radio, depending on where your end users are, to share details of the WhatsApp service. Sesame Workshop ran this was a TV ad, I believe, which is the example you see on the right side. Great. Can we move on to the next slide? So now let's talk about how you can join our community and stay connected with us. At Turn, we really believe in the power of community. And it has been a great privilege to work with some amazing organizations around the world, inspiring them to use chat to make impact. And these organizations have become a great part of our success and have created and fostered an environment of sharing experiences, best practices, and evidence of what works and what doesn't. So we're continuously hosting events that are aimed at growing our community through the Chat for Impact bootcamps and monthly town halls. Next slide, please. Our next monthly town hall is going to be on the 21st of September. These take place monthly and are very interactive sessions where we share new community use cases, latest product updates, news, and a lot more. So do save the date and join us. We'll add the link to register on chat. So if you can just click on that and register, you can attend the next one that's coming up next week. We look forward to seeing you at our other events. Don't forget to, and I did remind everybody on our, the breakout room, but please don't forget to apply for the Chat for Impact Accelerator. So the deadline is on the 21st of September, which is next week. We will be awarding $25,000 to the 20 best organizations. And this is unrestricted funding, so they can scale their social impact with their WhatsApp chat service. So please make sure to apply today. Next slide, please. We would really, really appreciate your feedback and experience with this bootcamp. So we're going to be sharing this link for the feedback survey to you on the chat window. Alternately, I'll also be sending you an email that you'll get with the recording of this bootcamp, where we will share the link. So please take some time out and fill this in. It's just 3 simple questions, which will go a long way to help us improve the bootcamps that we run in the future. Next slide, please. Here are different ways that you can join and engage with the community via our social media channels like Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. We also have an active LinkedIn group where we promote events and updates. So please feel free, whichever is your preferred channel that you are most active on. please, join our community there. And next slide, please. Finally, you can connect with us on the WhatsApp support line, either by scanning the QR code that's out there or by sending us a simple hi message on the number that's displayed. The Turn Partnerships team, who was actually on the breakout rooms, will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have, either around sign up or setting up your service. So please reach out to us either on the support lines, or you can email us at impact@turn.io. If you've started filling out the feedback form, thank you very much. And if you've not yet done so, please do that later today. We would really appreciate that. And with regards to onboarding, like I said, we'll be forwarding you an email with Calendly, links for you to sign up for our live onboarding sessions that is running tomorrow and day after. So if you have any questions at all, we're there to help. Please reach out. And like I said, a recording of this bootcamp will be uploaded by end of day today in the LinkedIn group, and an email will be sent with a link to that. Thanks again for joining, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone.